At this point, is it fair to ask the question if Biden is scared or is he just stupid? Because he's called a lid until after the presidential debate on Thursday, apparently. So what that means is he's not doing any media, he's not holding any rallies, so if you guys out there have any tickets, both of you feel free to return them. But I have to wonder, because the entire press corps that continues to follow him around isn't really going to ask him about Hunter, isn't going to ask him any hardball questions. Everything is all, oh, your hair looks so great today, Mr. Biden. Oh, wow, those are beautiful new sunglasses. What type of ice cream flavor do you like? But granted, when you're 77 years old, everything seems terrifying, from waking up in the morning and getting out of bed to wondering if you'll be able to come up with a convincing enough lie to get out of the third debate. But we got the New York Post's article up here. Biden calls lid on campaign events until after debate with Trump. I can't fucking believe this. It's really just... This is the most bizarre campaign for several reasons, but the fact that he doesn't even want to get out there in such a controlled setting, which he has been for, well, at least a little while, because I don't know, I guess he thinks that Trump will eventually just fuck up whenever he's out there talking. But we all kind of remember this. Trump's approval rating rises as a response to the coronavirus outbreak. Now, this was in March, and when he was holding those daily briefings on the coronavirus, his results, or his approval ratings, kept going up ever incrementally, peaking at 49%, it says. Yeah, hitting 49% in a Gallup poll. So one of the more whatever, who gives a shit about the polls, really? But the Democrats do, and that's fairly obvious, considering that they're just going to hide Biden, thinking that the strategy is just going to keep working, and we have short-term memory loss and can't remember 4 years ago. But whenever Trump has the opportunity to go out there and speak and deliver his message to the public, his approval goes up because people understand what he's saying and it's not being spun from anybody else. So, in my opinion, it's a really stupid, absolutely stupid campaign strategy to keep Joe Biden hidden in his basement. Like, no media available. What a lid means, no media availability, no press briefings, and the next time we're going to see him pop his head out is going to be Thursday, when he's going to get smashed in the face with every single question is going to come back to Hunter and his connections with China and whatever the fuck Giuliani's going to be dropping here in the next couple of days off that laptop. But the point of this here today is to just question what the fuck is going on with this campaign and all the help that he's been getting. Back into the basement he goes. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden is back at his Wilmington, Delaware home and will not return to the campaign trail until after his face-off with President Trump at the presidential debates. See what I did there? At Thursday night's debate. That means all the way up until there will only be 11 days until the actual election. Oh my God. And at the rate that he's been calling lids, don't expect all 11 of those days to be availability hours for the media. How can people prop him up at this point? I don't get it. The corruption's right there, but whoa, not the point of this video. But yeah, it's a campaign of disinformation and misbelief. The former vice president landed in his home state Sunday evening after campaigning in North Carolina, after which the Biden campaign called the lid. Calling a lid refers to a candidate or campaign indicating to the press that they will not be holding any more events, usually for the day. Not in this case. The Democrat will be focused heavily on prepping for his second and final debate with no public events on his schedule. How is he going to deflect? Little spoiler, but we're going to be previewing the debates and what I think is going to be discussed on it, and we got some information here out today that Trump really wants to focus more on foreign relations, and I wonder what that means for the last debate here. What I think Biden's going to be doing is a lot of sleeping, not a lot of talking, a lot of memorization, and figuring out the best place to secure a wire. Because I've gone back and probably watched 5 or 6 different commentaries on that first debate, and it is so fucking obvious the fact that he knew everything that he was going to say when he was first handed off the question. He had his talking points so down, and whenever he pointed at the camera and was like, listen, if there's an empty chair at your table in the morning, I want you to think about this man's response to the coronavirus. It was all very scripted, and then as soon as Trump just knocked him off his game, it was super apparent when he ran into his Beau Biden tirade about calling the military suckers and losers. Ugh. Yeah, and then as soon as Trump knocked him off, he's like, who are you talking about? Who? Hunter? I don't know no Beau. I know Hunter. He's, oh, what? He just didn't know how to answer it. So clearly he was being fed lines. I don't know. Based on what we know, we definitely don't think he should be able to memorize so many lines, but I think one of his debate preppers worked for the Houston Astros 2 years ago, if you catch my drift. A spokesperson for the Biden campaign did not respond to the Post's request for comment on the matter because, of course, I don't even think the Post has their Twitter page back up yet for slandering old Joe. Slandering my dick. The coronavirus pandemic hit the United States in mid-March, just after the former vice president had secured the Democratic nomination. Not really. If you guys remember, Bernie Sanders had quite a few delegates to his name, and he never really... I did say that he eventually suspended his campaign, but he was still technically alive, hence why they had to have the Bernie Sanders Unity plan on Joe Biden's website, that is, and why AOC had to give that weird kind of off-putting speech at the DNC itself. As a result, Biden was forced to begin campaigning virtually from his Delaware home, where his campaign built a television studio. Great pictures coming out of that place, where he's had such great interviews with the likes of Cardi B and Charlemagne the God. Definitely not pandering or anything. Biden defended himself when he took flack from President Trump and the Republicans for remaining on lockdown amid the pandemic, saying during a CNN interview in May that doing so helped his campaign. Oh, how is that? All this stuff about Biden's hiding. Well, you know, the fact of the matter... Oh my god. At least the Post writes him out verbatim. The fact of the matter is, it's working pretty well so far, doing the rules, you know, the thing. Look, here's the deal. He's behind in almost every state. He continued, noting that he recognizes that the numbers could change between then and the November election. Like they did in 2016. Remember how far ahead Hillary Clinton was? I don't have to tell you guys. You probably seen my video comparing 2016 to 2020. Oh, I'm so happy I get to be around for it this time. I just can't wait for the 4th. And this is probably one of the likely retards that has told him that staying in his basement until debate's a great thing. Joe Biden is doing exactly what he needs to do to win, Democratic strategist Eric Koch told the Post on Sunday. Trump, meanwhile, is not letting the last 15 days of the campaign go to waste. Oh, have you seen any of the pictures, especially the one that was in Long Beach? Yeah, President Trump, a Republican in Long Beach, had a miles-long line for the campaign, and here, I'll just go ahead and show you what it looked like. So here, we'll just play a little snippet of the video here. I mean, look at this. This is in Newport Beach. Yeah, in case you were wondering, not exactly the most Republican-friendly territory. California, one of the deepest blue districts, and that's just one part of it. The streets are lined. There were so many videos that came out from this, and I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to flip California. I think that the polls are going to be a lot closer than they were in 16, and probably a lot closer than a bunch of the prognosticators out there are even considering. If I was to put a number on it, probably looking at 60-40 Biden. I don't think that that's going to be terribly far off. I don't think that's a terribly a radical prediction, but if you guys have ideas, between here in California and out in New York, I think New York's more likely, but I still don't see him winning it. Because here's my theory on this one. Okay, California has San Francisco and they have LA. Two huge Democratic hotspots with a vast number of people living there and voting twice in some cases. And that's going to be a lot more difficult to overcome than New York. New York has New York City, the most populous city in North America, and it is emptying huge. Now, does that mean that it's all the rich Republicans that have left the area? Maybe not. And maybe the people that are left over are being turned off by the fact that Bill de Blasio and Andrew Cuomo are doing a shit-fucking job, and they are both, Democrats, no doubt. And the messages of law and order and lower taxes kind of resonate with the people that are left over because they see that these empty buildings are theirs now for the taking, and there's a path to success, and you got so many endorsements from the unions, from the police unions, and all the blue-collar unions that are out in New York supporting Trump. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's likely. I will be thoroughly shocked, and I'd love to be shocked on the 3rd if New York flips red, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. It's more likely than California, though. So back to Biden. Why the fuck did he call this lid? Y'all know why. Biden mom on Hunter Biden emails alleged knowledge of son's overseas business dealings. Well, that's not true now, is it? Biden's campaign has hit back at the New York Post's report and the emails, but the former vice president has yet to address the matter. But you know what else we have? We have corroborating evidence that this, in fact, wasn't a Russian, Marussia disinformation. You guys remember this man's name? John Ratcliffe, Director of National Intelligence. He was the one that initially put out that memo that Lindsey Graham requested, saying that Hillary Clinton was responsible for linking Trump to Russia in an attempt to dissuade anybody from looking into her email server. Oops, that didn't work. And that just ended up causing a lot more headaches for you. I did the video on that one, and one of the more popular ones on my channel. I thank everybody for taking the time to watch that one if you did. So I'll be linking to that one, of course, so you guys know a little bit more on that one. But yeah, so Director Radcliffe says that Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of a Russian disinformation campaign, but says it is in the hands of the FBI, which they did nothing with, because the FBI, if y'all remember, is a corrupt institution. Donald Trump's Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, said Monday that Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of some Russia disinformation campaign, and he blasted Representative Adam Schiff for saying dirt on Trump's rival came from the Kremlin, because that's always this fucking guy's retort. Oh, Marussia, I have evidence. I've had 9 months worth of evidence. Where is it, Adam? Ah! Hide back in your fucking shell, you little goof. He confirmed that the FBI have the laptop, but did not comment on whether they are investigating its contents. They've had it for a long time, and they've done nothing with it. Hence why the computer repairman made copies of it, because he was kind of a little bit dicey on whether or not the FBI would actually take care of the information that's on there. And what we've been promised about what's coming out, I can understand why. But right now it's just all kind of hearsay and conjecture. But as soon as that shit drops in the next few days, you bet your boy's going to be covering it. Ratcliffe, a Trump loyalist, thanks Daily Mail, who assumed his post in May, accused Schiff of having politicized intelligence. I think we have some evidence to prove that one. And responded to Schiff's claim about the mysterious laptop that Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani says he obtained from a computer repair shop owner. I love how the Daily Mail trivializes the accomplishments of Rudy Giuliani. Oh, he's just a Trump lawyer. America's mayor, took down the mafia in New York City and made New York City a livable place. He's done 3 miraculous things. But yeah, now he's just some lawyer. Its contents, which Giuliani provided to the New York Post, include emails purporting to show business ties between Joe Biden and his son, who documents looks to be seeking to cash in on his father's former position as vice president in the Ukraine and in China, which we've already covered before. And unfortunately, it is Adam Schiff who said the intelligence community, who, as you pointed out on Friday, said the intelligence community believes the Hunter Biden laptop and the emails are part of a Russia disinformation campaign. This was what John Radcliffe had to say. Schiff, a Democrat, chairs the House Disintelligence Committee. Little editorializing, I understand, but links in the description if you guys want to read it yourself. But I'm sure you tune in for my little asides, of course. Adam Schiff is a piece of shit. That should be the 11th commandment. Anyways, back to Fox News. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden has remained mum on questions about his knowledge of his son's Hunter's overseas business dealings, which were discussed in a series of emails purportedly found on a laptop belonging to his son, which we've seen the laptop. Crowder's live stream had it, and John Radcliffe has confirmed that the FBI does in fact have one, and yeah, there are 26,000 emails and pictures out there right now, so we don't have to purport this anymore. It's in fact a reality. New York Post last week published a controversial emails, which were later obtained by Fox News, related to Hunter Biden's work with Ukrainian natural gas firm Burisma Holdings, as well as his work with a Chinese energy firm, which we discussed previously in Friday's video, one of Friday's videos, I believe. This is the only thing that China Joe has mentioned about the emails. While the Biden campaign has hit back at the New York Post's report, the former vice president himself has not given a substantive answer on the emails. Biden over the weekend was asked about the Post's report by CBS News reporter, to which he replied, "I have no response. It's another smear campaign," he said. One email dated May 13th, 2017, and obtained by Fox News, includes a discussion of remuneration packages for 6 people and business deal with a Chinese energy firm. The email appeared to identify Hunter Biden as chair/vice chair, depending on an agreement with CEFC, in an apparent reference to the now bankrupt CEFC, China Energy Corporation. Wow, really a Olympic level leap there. The email includes a note Hunter has some office expectations he will elaborate. A proposed equity split references 20 for H, 20% for Hunter, and 10 held for the big guy, with no further details. If Kristen Welker, the moderator, doesn't bring it up, I think it's pretty safe to assume that the president will, Trump campaign senior advisor Jason Miller said Monday on Fox Business's Mornings with Maria. Again, these are real simple questions. Meanwhile, House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff, Democrat from California, over the weekend described the emails as being part of Russia. "We know that the whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin," Schiff said on CNN. So if one of his kids eats, like, I don't know, just the last cookie, or one of his many housekeepers decides that they need to wax the floor and Adam Schiff needs to put another coat on his head, I wonder if he blames these outages on Russia every single time. Or if the dog shits on the floor, it's probably from the Kremlin. Must be nice to just offload any responsibility, or just have a boogeyman waiting in the back corner when you realize that it was all just fabricated lies. But nobody out there is going to fact check you on that one. Not Twitter, not Facebook. It's just a one-sided street. And that's why Democrats can continue to spin this line of horseshit. Don't believe me? Well, I know you guys probably fucking have seen it everywhere. Only one side gets yeeted. Only one side gets the hammer dropped on them. Facebook, Twitter censored Trump campaign 65 times. Biden, zero. Everything that old Sleepy Joe has said has been 100% truthful. Did you know that? If Facebook and Twitter had their way, that'd be the only thing that you knew. Now, this study dates all the way back to May 2018. So that means that Jack and Mark have been working overtime on this shit. And you guys seen those pussy statements that Jack Dorsey put out. Dave Rubin pressed him specifically on the question of if they shadow ban or not. If you guys aren't familiar with that term, that's not giving anybody a specific type of strike or removing you from the platform, but it's making your posts either less visible to your followers or removing you from the reply chain. Just little seedy shit. So, oh no, you still have your account and everything, and there's nothing wrong with the fact that you get single-digit likes and retweets on your posts, even though you're approaching 1 million fucking followers. Clearly, that's a lie. Or whenever anyone tried to link out to the original New York Post story regarding the Biden emails, how nobody was able to actually link it out without getting a warning saying that, oh, you can't tweet this out, or locking out a bunch of prominent Republican Twitter accounts. Old soy Biden out there was like, yeah, we've done a pretty bad job of explaining this. And the guy has the excitement level of a sloth on Valium. At least Mark Zuckerberg, even though he looks like he has a fucking condom stretched over his head at all times. Where did he find his plastic surgeon? Escape from LA? At least he's fairly honest about being, we're not going to do anything, and oh yeah, everybody's getting fucking censored, so deal with it. He'll survive extremely well in this new Chinese future that he so desperately wants. Let's dig into this study here. Enough making fun of these fucking soy-laden goofs. Facebook and Twitter have censored President Donald Trump and his campaign accounts at least 65 times in the last 2 years, while Democratic presidential nominee Joseph R. Biden, God, that reads like a tombstone, and his camp have never been dinged, according to a report released Monday. The Conservative Media Research Center's Tech Watch department found that the tech giants had a decidedly lopsided approach to presidential candidates and their campaigns when it comes to flagging and axing their content. We've all kind of suspected this, but at least somebody has put it into a study, which will never be referenced. And even though it's a scientific study, conservatives will still be slandered as being the party of not for science. Of course, are we all bots too? Why not? The biggest discrepancy came with Twitter, which accounted for 98% of the censorship incidents against the Trump camp from May 2018 to October 16th, 2020. The analysis did not include ads from PACs or super PACs. Twitter has been far and away the biggest offender labeling fact-checking and removing Trump's tweets and the tweets from his campaign across accounts 64 times since the president's election, the report said. Tweets about the president's concern over mail-in voting, COVID-19, and the Black Lives Matter protests have been giving public interest notices. I've detailed in a few videos where you have to click through a certain disclaimer in order to see what the president has tweeted, or on some occasions they've just been fucking yeeted right off. Maybe not on his account, I could be misremembering that, but definitely on the affiliated accounts I remember quite well. The report follows an outcry over the crackdown of the New York Post's bombshell stories on the emails reportedly taken from the laptop of Hunter Biden dealing with his financial relationships with the Ukrainian natural gas company Burisma and a Chinese energy firm. And then the rest of the article just details the Twitter stuff here, but let's hop over to Facebook. Meanwhile, Facebook and Instagram have censored the Trump campaign 5 times. The Instagram removing a video criticizing Antifa because it showed an inverted triangle. So I suppose what? Guests are Nazis now? The LGBT community are Nazis now? People with big shoulders are Nazis now? Nazis are Nazis now? Oh, and video games. Anyways, the ad was removed from both the president's page and his campaign page, the MRC report said. However, multiple violent Antifa pages that have doxed members of the Senate remain on the platform unscathed, which we know are in fact true. And in fact, multiple Antifa accounts regularly organize their meetings, I use very loosely, and actively dox police members, and that's still out there today. And meanwhile, people like Kamala Harris can solicit bonds for convicted felons through various bail funds and not denounce, well, the aforementioned Antifa. But yeah, Biden doesn't get yeeted for any of that shit. So that should send a pretty strong message out there. This campaign is about many things, but censorship is first and foremost, at least in my opinion, because without free speech, you don't have the right to go out there and make yourself a fool, and you also don't have a right to tell the press to fuck off because I'm going to hide until Thursday night. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that little catch-up, so if you don't see any Biden-related content here in the next couple of days that don't refer to emails, now you'll know why, because Uncle Joe needs his nap time. He's getting a little cranky, and he needs to be perky for his Thursday meeting, well, his Thursday ass-whipping. Anyways, guys, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you guys to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.